Hey guys, so one thing I see misused a lot is the word would. So I'm going to discuss today how to use the word would correctly and how to use it in a fancy way. Because a lot of times what I see from my students, from you guys, is writings where you say, I would like to, or you tell someone to do something, I would like you to. So in those writings, you have the word would, and in sentences which are so simple that never seem attractive enough to give you guys good marks for writing or speaking. So we're going to look at the same sentences and we'll see how we can make those better. But before that, let's try to get rid of the mistakes with this word would, because I see so many mistakes with this. So would and could. First of all, the easiest thing to understand is they are simply past tenses of will and can. So instead of will, past tense would. Instead of can, past tense could. Let's talk about would for today for this video. So a past tense of would be if he would be given a choice, comma, I'm sure he would go for the DVD over online videos. So in this case, it is a past tense. Like if this would happen in the past, if this case happened, it's not going to happen, it's not will. If this took place in the past, we're imagining, then it would be, again imagining, it would be this outcome. So first thing is it's the past tense, and it can be used in those ways. The next thing is when you have a conditional thing. For example, if you would be nice to him, comma, next part, he would return the favor. So it's a conditional. It is not in the past. It is in the present and future because it's a condition. You know, if you're nice to him now or maybe in the future, he would be nice to you as well. So it's a condition. If this happens, then this would happen. Or another condition, if he would get the taste of corruption, comma, he's going to become a very corrupt leader. You see? So it could be used as a condition as well. A lot of times you see in real life, there's a third use of this, and that is when servers at restaurants ask you, and I've mentioned this before as well, would you like to have some sugar with your coffee? Would you like to have it to go? Would you like to? Now, that's not a condition, and that is definitely not the past tense because it is something that's going to happen to you now. But you would hear that in restaurants mostly, the server saying, would you? Or in real life, would you please move aside? Would you please help me with my homework? What people should really be saying, grammatically what is correct is will you or can you? We say would, however, because it is more polite. So in the more informal language, or you could say in trying to be more polite with people in real life, you want to use would or could. So instead of can, if I want to tell someone, hey, can you help me with my homework? I feel like I'm imposing on that person. So I just want to say, could you help me with my homework? And that is more polite, even though it's grammatically incorrect. Could and would can replace can and will to become more polite. Okay, so these are some scenarios where you can use them. I wouldn't say that use the polite scenario in your writing. You can do that for speaking, but not in your writing because that is grammatically incorrect. Okay, so now that we understand could and would, let's talk about some sentences where you use would, not incorrectly, but in a very simple way and how you can make it fancy. Okay, everybody, so what I have here is, I'm just going to remove this, is this very common sentence, I'd like you to, okay? So I'd like you to is the simplest thing that people use when they're writing and they're asking someone a favor, someone to do something. Instead of I would like you to, you can use this variation. It will be wonderful if you could. Now, this is a complex sentence. It's a longer sentence as well. So that, well, longer, because it's longer, it's complex. And when you say it'll be wonderful if you could, first of all, it's complex. Second of all, it is polite. Third of all, it's more fancy than if you just say I'd like you to. Fourthly, I'm going to say it's also more polite. It's not just saying I'd like you to, because when you say I'd like you to, it looks like a more boss and employee situation or someone who is being ordered by you. Hence, it's always better not to say that, actually. It's always better to go with, it'll be wonderful if you could. I even would talk like this to my wife, who I can be completely informal with, but I won't say I'd like you to, because it sounds like I'm giving her an order. Okay, so better to say it would be wonderful if you could. Would it be possible for you to? This is yet another way of being very polite. And I should add some dots here because you'll obviously add something here when you ask. And it's just you know this, that the person's going to be able to do this. Like if I talk to my employee, I never say, actually, I've never said directly in order, and I've learned this through management training. I've never said, hey, you should do this with your student. I don't use the words like should. I use words like you wanna do this with your student. But because I'm teaching you not wanna, I want to teach you correctly. Would it be possible for you to work on this lesson with your student? Now, in this case, I know the employee is going to say yes, because of course I'm the boss. But I'm also trying to be I'm not trying to show her that this is a command, but more like it's an option. Would it be possible for you to? The employee also understands that they have to do this. That is being asked of them, but in a polite way. So it is something you can ask people, but in a way where you say, would it be possible for you to? So just a normal tidbit for a real life, that if you want to be polite, do speak like that instead of asking or telling someone, I would like you to, or do this. Okay, so would it be possible for you to? I wouldn't say it's fancy. It is better than this. But in case you are focusing more on a polite tone in the written or spoken format, or of course in real life, go with this. Would it be possible for you to? This one is complex. So given that, whenever you start a sentence with given that, it is automatically fancy and complex. So given that you have time to spare, could you? Okay, now here it's too much. Like this doesn't look like a leadership thing. At least this previous one looks like you're a leader. You're a nice leader, but you're a leader. But this is like too much, too much polite. You can be too polite sometimes. You have to, you have to show a little bit of backbone. So given that you have time to spare, could you? So here we're just saying, because you have time to spare, could you? So we're first of all giving a reasoning. Look, I know this is the case, could you? Or given that you have made some extra income this month, could you help me a little with a loan? Could I borrow some money? Okay, so here you're really going after the person and kind of giving him a rationale for what you're about to ask. So if that is a situation where you're really desperate, or this is a person who you really have to convince, you can use this format. But more reasoning for using this format is so you can get that complex sentence mark in your writing and speaking, instead of just saying something very vanilla and simple like I'd like you to. Okay, now this is another scenario where you say I would like to. Not I'd like you to. You're not telling someone what you want them to do, but what you want to do. Okay, so in letters, or we usually talk about talk to friends, or in the formal letters, we would talk to business people or managers or employers about what you want in your career or in casual life. Then you would say, I'd like to. Okay, there are way better ways to say it. It'll be my honor to. Now, of course, you've heard of this, and it is more formal. Make sure it's a big thing. It's not like, it'll be my honor to have an ice cream. There you can just say, I'd like to have an ice cream. But it'll be my honor to, of course, if it's something really important to you, something you value way too much, almost you respect it to that point. It would be great if I could. Now, this is neutral. You could use it in almost every scenario. So it would be great if I could have an ice cream right now. Very basic, right? Or it would be great if I could be given the chance to get the promotion for the managerial position. Formal. So this could be used in any scenario. It's not great. It's not like amazing writing, but it's way better than this. Okay. And in a way, it does satisfy that requirement of being complex, because you have if is generally considered a complex word to put in between sentences, but I don't feel it's that complex because it's still a little short. These two are longer, so they are more complex. And the second last one here is, it would be of utmost honor for me to. Definitely complex, making things a little more wordy than they need to be, but you kind of need it. You kind of need to force yourself to do this to gain marks in your IELTS, CELPIP, and any English writing exams. Again, this is something about honor, so this is something that is really important to you. It'll be of utmost honor for me to give the opening speech in the ceremony. Okay, so something really serious that you want, and it's very honorable for you to do. And this here, you see, this is an adverb, simply. Not really an adverb, it doesn't define a verb, but it has the ly component, which is common to adverbs. And when you have ly, When you have also an adjective, amazing, you are giving the examiner a range of vocabulary. And there is the if, which makes it complex. Hence, this is probably the best variation that you can use in every scenario in writing. It would be simply amazing if I could be given the chance to do whatever. So see how far you came from I'd like to something like this. And something like this would give you a lot more marks. So guys, there you have it. These are the situations where you could replace I would like you to and I would like to with more fancy vocabulary and sentence structures, and how you could use would correctly in the first place. That's the main requirement. I hope that helps, and we're going to do another lesson soon on could, so please subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll talk very soon, guys. I hope this helped. Like, share, and subscribe. Take care.